Hi, I'm Rebekah, and I would like to share my testimony with you. So, I was born into a family. I had my mum, my dad, and my older brother and my younger sister. And then when I was 10, I had two more brothers and sisters. And after that, my mum and dad broke up and divorced. And then not long after that, I got put into cis care. So we were at someone else's house, and my behaviour at that point was really bad. I was probably about 12, and yeah, I was always rebellious, always yelling and screaming, always just wasn't happy. I was depressed, and yeah, and anyway, we ended up moving back to my grandma's house, and that was okay. And then we ended up moving to my mum's house not long after that. And I was still playing up and was rebellious, and I just wanted to move with my dad, so I moved with him. And he lived in Christchurch. So when I moved to Christchurch with my dad and my stepmom, and I had my half brother, and so I was always at school, or I was always at youth group, or I was always at church, hanging out with friends in the weekends, and after church we'd always go somewhere as a youth group, as a church. And then I got baptized, and after that I didn't really repent. I don't know. I didn't really repent, and I got baptized, but I didn't really understand it. And then after that, I didn't really want to give up my old ways, and was I was homesick from living with so I wanted to live back with my mum. So I moved back with my mum because I was homesick. And I was supposed to go for a holiday, but I didn't end up going back to Christchurch, so I just stayed in Hamilton. There was this guy on Facebook, and he messaged me, and he basically told me he was 19, and so I sort of believed all of his lies. He said that he couldn't get me pregnant. He had a vasectomy, and he told me all of these other lies, basically to try and get me to sleep with him. And I said no for the first 2 weeks, and then I was pressured into it. And it came to the point where I just said okay, and I said, what's the what's the worst that can happen? I'm not gonna fall pregnant because he told me he couldn't get me pregnant. And so anyway, a few weeks later I found out that I was pregnant. And so I stopped trusting in this guy, and I sort of found out a few truths. He was actually 26 and I was 15, and after that he kept on harassing me because I wanted him to leave me alone, and he wouldn't leave me alone. So I went to the police about it because I was already having a hard time. And then he got put on 1 year of home detention. So after I had Toby, I was really depressed. I wasn't happy with my life. I thought, God won't love me anymore because I have a baby. And so I kept on rebelling and went out with guys, and I did some really bad stuff. And anyway, came to last year where I moved to this place, and still wasn't happy, and I was taking pills, I was drinking, took pills that weren't prescribed to me. And anyway, I not long after that, my granddad passed away, and my life was my life wasn't going that great anyway, so I got even more depressed after that. The night that he died, I couldn't sleep. I was on edge. Every movement, just couldn't sleep at all. Every noise that I heard, I don't know, couldn't sleep at all. And so I had this guy, he was messaging me all night long, and we started talking, and then we went on a date, and we started going out. And then, so that was going good, but then his granddad died as well. And everything from all the memories that I had from my granddad passing away, all of those memories came back, and I was even worse at that point. So I couldn't really support him because I was trying to deal with my own emotions, and I just turned bitter, and I was always selfish, and I didn't really get what I wanted, so I'd play up, and so after that, no friendships got broken because I was so bitter, and I was catty, and I ended up breaking up with my boyfriend at the time, and my friend sort of kicked me out as well, so I didn't really know where to go. And so I went with my ex-boyfriend, another ex-boyfriend, and we were always fighting, and I wasn't being a good mum to Toby. I was like 10 times worse than I was before. He's not really a Christian, so I'm not too sure why he said it, but he basically said between, like, on the lines of, Rebekah, you're not going to make it to heaven, or something like that. And that's when I really thought about it. And then the next day I went for a walk, and we were over by Chartwell in Hamilton, and I went for a walk to this park, and I basically cried my eyes out. It was raining. I went under a tree and just started crying because my life had fallen apart in 5 years, and so everything that I believed in with being a Christian and stuff, it all like fell apart and stuff. And so my faith at that point wasn't even, I didn't even know if there was a God at that point. And so I said, God, if you're actually going to listen to me, I want my old life back, and I'm sorry. And then pretty much after that, I made it right with my friend, because I was living at her house. So I made it right with her, and I told her, I said, I'm sorry for all my actions that I've done, and I shouldn't have done that. And so she pretty much forgave me, and I said that I wanted to change my life. Like, I didn't want to go down that path anymore. And I sort of told her that I wanted to be the person that I was when I was 14, when I got baptised the first time. And so and we were just talking and stuff, and so after that we ended up having to move out because we got kicked out. And so before that I was thinking about moving, but I didn't really tell anyone that I wanted to move. I didn't know where either. And then there was this person, and he said that I could move in with him. And so I moved to Tokoroa for a fresh start, and so there was this, I went to Maini Music, and there was a person there, and she was pregnant, and she had a 2-year-old as well, and I basically hung out with the wrong person. Like, she always used me for money, and she I was always like trying to pick up the pieces for her, but I was already like, I had to fix my own life, sort of thing, and so it got too much, so I had to stop seeing her, and she was always lying and stuff, so I stopped being friends with her. And then there was another mum at Money Music, and she introduced me, like, she was talking to me about Jesus and stuff, and then the next day she invited us for lunch, and we went over for lunch, and she shared the gospel to me, and basically said that if I get baptized and turn from my old ways, turn from all that stuff, all the bad stuff that I did, then I'll be saved and have Jesus in my life. And anyway, so I went away, and I was still friends. I was still hanging out with the other person, but I got to a point where I was like, no, I can't keep doing this. So I messaged and the people that I was living with were also against me. Like, they didn't really like me either, and so I pretty much got to the point where I was like, okay, I think I should have Jesus in my life, and so I told my other friend from Money Music, who told me about Jesus, that I wanted to get baptized, and so the next day I got baptized, and I repented, and after that I felt peace, and I was really happy, and so I'm living with her in her house now, and she has like basically accepted us. She's invited us to her home, and me and Toby just keep growing, and so I've cut out all the stuff that I used to do, like smoking and taking pills. I've stopped taking my antidepressants. I have stopped drinking. I'm always wanting to improve with Toby. Toby's eating his veggies now, whereas before it was like really hard to get him to eat. There's routine, and now Toby has a routine now, and yeah, I received the Holy Spirit, which is Jesus coming into my heart, into my life, and yeah, I'm a lot more happier now, and I would never think about going back to my old life anymore, because I'm a lot happier now, and I choose Jesus, and he's basically saved me from all the bad stuff.